Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to an unforgettable afternoon of excellence, inspiration, and celebration. We recognize and honor these trailblazing women. And now, please welcome your host, the unmistakable voice of the quiet storm, WAOK's brand manager, the one and only Joyce Littell, and the creator and host of On Point with Juandolyn Stokes Trailblazer Awards, the incomparable Juandolyn Stokes.
We are certainly glad to have you sharing with us, and we certainly appreciate you for being a part of this On Point with Juandolyn Stokes Trailblazer Awards. It's something that's just been in my heart for years. Just when I look at my journey in the different areas and sectors of the industries I have experienced, and then I've seen other women oftentimes just be overlooked, working hard, being skillful, intelligent, and I've always wanted to inspire and encourage. My mother was a great inspiration to me, and I said, you know, a part of my assignment and my journey is to inspire, encourage, and recognize other women. And so that's what this comes from. My life experience, my journey, what I've seen, and what I've seen you do, and the impact that you have made. Also this year, earlier, we celebrated a lot of women of faith, about 75 women throughout Metro Atlanta during this Women's History Month. And so now this culminates all of the celebrations that we're doing for Women's History Month. We did have our first inaugural one last year. I want you to take a little peek at this video.
You know, there are a lot of women and individuals who are doing work, but sometimes, you know, their contributions are overlooked. Sometimes, you know, we don't see their perseverance. We don't see their commitment and their passion to what they do. And so it is during this month that we take the moment out for just a moment and say, hey, to these great women, we celebrate you. So I am reminded in this room with all these amazing women, I absolutely can do anything that I want to. I am the poster child for doing exactly what you want to do.
I would like to introduce a dear friend of mine. He always answers the phone when I call. He always says yes when I ask. He is a phenomenal trumpet player. He has played for so many legends. Hands together for trumpeter Melvin Miller. And now it's time for the On Point with Juandolyn Stokes Trailblazer Awards, where we will be recognizing phenomenal trailblazing women.
On Point with Juandolyn Stokes, Trailblazer honoree, a woman in politics, Alisha Searcy, political analyst and former state representative.
Come on, let's give it up for our first honoree. Woo! And we are live, those of you who are listening to us on News and Talk, WAOK. We are live here in Odyssey Studios, and our first recipient, Alisha Searcy, we're glad to have you to share with us today. She's been our on-point political analyst, and certainly she's a champion for education. Tell us about, what do you feel about this, the political state that we're in, and your challenge and call to the community?
First of all, thank you for this award. I am truly humbled, especially to be among these incredible women, some of whom I've known since I was a kid in college. And so to be among them is truly an honor, and thank you for your heart and choosing to honor women. You know, this is an incredible time in history. And what I keep having to remind people is that we ain't new to this.
Yeah.
We've actually experienced much worse than this before, right? If you track our history since being on American soil, we know how to overcome what seemingly are insurmountable challenges. And so I think this is a moment where we have an administration in place that the first thing that came to mind and said was not of God, but I'm not gonna go there. At the moment, you know, where our values are not the same. And so particularly when it comes to education, I think about last week, this executive order to in effect dismantle the Department of Education, which by the way, I'm sure people in this room and those who are listening, hey y'all, know that our own Jimmy Carter was the one who created the U.S. Department of Education. And so there's a special connection that we have, not just to education, but also with its creation. And so I believe that education, having the right to a public education, is the civil rights issue of our time.
Yes.
I grew up in the NAACP. I'm very clear about the importance of protecting civil rights. And so to have an executive order to dismantle the Department of Public Education is deeply concerning. And so to your question though, what do we do? What's the call to action? I know we've seen all of these memes that 92% of black women who voted the right way should just sit back. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. We don't have the right to sit back.
That's right.
And watch other people do the work. We've always been on the front lines, and we're going to stay that way because we must. Because that's what we're destined to do. That's what we're responsible to do. That's what we're called to do.
Yes.
And so I believe that we've got to, of course, reach out to our members of Congress to make sure they are clear about what we expect from them to fight for the Department of Education. And we have to think about what it means on the state and local level. I know that we're in session right now. My two civil rights friends are on their phones watching what's happening in session because things are happening by the moment. But legislators in particular need to pay attention because the state law that is or is not in place will protect what happens in Georgia.
That's right.
And so even if the federal Department of Education goes away, there are still federal laws in place. There are still state laws that need to be in place. And by the way, y'all, we need a state school superintendent who actually understands public education, and wants to make sure we protect it. So we've got to stand up. We've got to use our voices. We've got to ensure that we do not allow the clock to be rolled back on public education.
Awesome. Let's give it up for Alisha Searcy. Thank you so much, and we appreciate you. She took us through the election process, and frequently every other week she's on Point with Juandolyn Stokes. So thank you, and congratulations again. Come on, let's give it up for her.
On Point with Juandolyn Stokes, Trailblazer honoree, a woman who serves, Keisha Lance Bottoms, former Atlanta mayor.
She's right on time, right? We are certainly delighted to have you share with us. Let's get this award.
This was a great time. On behalf of
Odyssey Atlanta, WAOK, and On Point with Juandolyn Stokes, we present you the Trailblazer Award. Isn't this wonderful? Thank you so much, former Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, for sharing with us today. You're listening to On Point with Juandolyn Stokes, right here live on News and Talk, WAOK. And we're also here live in the Odyssey Atlanta studios. Tell us about what it means to be a woman in leadership.
Oh, well, thank you all. First of all, congratulations to all of the honorees. It's an honor to be included in this. And leadership is what's in our DNA. We have been leading in our communities. We've been leading in our churches, our households, our sororities. And people just often don't call it leadership. It's just what we do. But I'll share with you something my wonderful therapist shared with me. She said, strong women push through, and they have heart attacks, and they have strokes, and they have high blood pressure. Powerful women stop, and they learn the lesson. And then, and only then, do they move on. So in this season of leadership, I just challenge all of us to not only be strong, but to be powerful. Yes. Because we are powerful beyond measure.
Wow, that's great. That's great. What do you say, what are your words to the younger generation of women who are, active, strong, and have skills, but sometimes are overlooked?
God sees you. Even when nobody else sees what you are doing, God knows. And I remind myself of that all of the time. And there are seasons when you are out front and you are getting accolades, and then there are seasons of silence where you do your work, oftentimes your best work, when nobody knows what you're doing. And I think for the younger generation, there is this desire to live out loud. Everybody doesn't need to know how you're moving. Everybody doesn't need to know your next move, your last move. Everybody doesn't need to know where you're going to be 10 steps ahead. So it's okay not to be seen in certain seasons. But you keep doing the work anyway. Because in due time, if it is worthy of recognition, then it will be seen. And if it doesn't need to be seen, keep being powerful in silence.
That's great. We all need to hear that, right? And this is a difficult question, I think, for a lot of women sometimes. How do you manage self-care? With all that you do, how do you manage self-care?
So I am going to butcher this quote. I just looked at it yesterday. It's an Audre Lorde quote. And she said, and it essentially says that self-care is not selfishness. It, in and of itself, is an act of political warfare. And if you cannot be good to yourself and for yourself, you won't be good to anybody else. And I say, we often think, only I, and if I don't do it, well, guess what? People leave this earth every day, and life moves on. So when you don't take care of yourself and you're no longer here, trust me, somebody else is going to be here. Sleeping in the bed with your husband. I mean, no, and this is real, I think I'm like, there's a reason there's stepmothers and second wives, and, life goes on. That's the circle of life. But we want to be here, to be a part of it. So, and this is a lesson that I am teaching myself in this season, that it's okay to put yourself first. It's also okay to say, I'm not okay. There's power in that.
Yeah. Wow, that's good. Any final words to women everywhere?
Yeah, I just, this is just such a full circle moment for me. I know Judge Hatchett remembers these days, and Kathleen, when you would ride by the WAOK tower and then the song would go off in the middle of the song, and WAOK and WIGO were these powerful voices in our communities. We still need these trusted voices, and especially from women, because we have seen our power in this season. The world, the nation has seen our power. And it is okay to rest, but there's also a time to go to battle. And the battle continues. So as we continue to rest, we will be ready not just to win the next battle, but to win the war.
Yes, very important.
And so I am glad to be amongst this powerful group of women warriors. And the revolution is not a one-time event.
I love it. Come on, let's give it up.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. On Point with Juandolyn Stokes, Trailblazer honoree, a woman in technology, Quiana Pinckney, Vice President of Division Communications, Comcast.
No, you want this yummy all in your tongue.
Come on, let's give it up. Wow. Now on behalf of Odyssey Atlanta and also 1380 WAOK, as well as On Point with Juandolyn Stokes, we honor you today. Yeah. You've been a woman in leadership and doing a lot of great things there at Comcast with communications. How important is it for us to make sure that we deliver the right message as we're out and about as women, our persona, our brand, and who we are?
Good afternoon, everybody. I first just want to say, when you walk into a room and feel this kind of love and light, it just does something for you. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to each of you. It's interesting. I would ask that question. Would we ask our male counterparts that same question? How important is it for them to make sure they say the right thing and do the right thing? As a woman, as a black woman, it is always upon us to make sure that we're doing the right things and showing up the right way, and sometimes we just need to be. And this is a season for me that I am trying not to walk in perfection, but trying to walk in continuous improvement. As a first generation college goer, not having a blueprint to how you do this thing, to be leading communication at a company like Comcast, I didn't have a path in a way that someone that was like, this is how you do it and this is how you navigate. I was often, when I worked at a different company in IR, I was often thought of as the assistant versus the leader of IR, and there were some missteps there. So when I think about it, it's important. Yes, our brand and how we talk about ourselves and the things that we do in communication, very important. And I think about when people walk away from us in that interaction, words mean things. But our lifetime, our souls meet each other, our interaction and our vibes and our energy meet before that. And so the words may not always be right. And I say this to my team always, I may not always get the words right, but know my intentions meet my actions. And so I would say important. Words mean things. I say that all the time. We have to be intentional about how we message, written and verbally. But as women, I would encourage you to lead and walk in light. And it's going to shine and show through.
Yeah, that's great. Great. How important is it for women to have a village? When we look at our strengths, when we look at our weaknesses, what's the importance of a village or mentorship or having the right circle around you?
I'm gonna hit this in two different ways. I have two friends that are my sisters that we've been friends since 4th grade. One of them this year last year was battling a year-long of cancer. It broke me to my core because she is we say when our husbands pass away, we will be in our rocking chairs, drinking our tea with a little something in it together. And the thought of cancer makes you think the fear of death. You immediately go to that, but my God. And so I think that it's important to have good people that love on you like no other. That's number one. I've never leaned into like one mentor, so I have a board of directors. This board of directors has guided me throughout my career, and some of them go and come and enter and exit in my life. But it's a few people that help guide me on my journey. I remember wanting to leave a company that I was with because we were in we were facing some tough times, and one of my board of directors was like, leave, it's time to go. The other board of directors said, Quiana, let's think about the pros and cons of what it means to be in this place right now, and what's next for you, and why are you jumping ship, and really settled me down to think about things differently. If I had just listened to one mentor or one person, I might have not had the different perspectives. I have a person on my board of directors like, let's go get him. I had a person on my board of directors that's like, wait, come on, let's pray about it. I have a board of director that will walk me through the pros and cons and is very risk adverse, but will help me think about the things that I need to think about. So I think it's important that you have someone that can guide you. I said that I didn't have someone to walk me through this corporate life, and it is an interesting place to be that you could use some guidance. But I've had people come into my life in different seasons that kind of helped me walk through it, helped guide me, gave me some direction, some subtle nudges, some really, really, really direct feedback that I needed young in my career. Very thankful for those people. If you don't have a board of directors, I would encourage you to get one.
That's wonderful. One last question. When you think about your work in your life, what are 2 tips that you would give to women to navigate through the corporate ladder?
Great question.
That is a great question. Walk into the place, any place and space as yourself. I wasn't taught that. When I walked into corporate America as a fresh out of college, I wouldn't have had these braids that I have today. I walked in trying to be and assimilate to what I saw because I thought that was the map that I needed to do. And I thought that was the road I needed to take. I admire our young people. They are brave and they walk into places as themselves. And I would encourage you to do that. They need that. They're not hiring us to be something else or to be something different. And I've had to learn to peel back that shell so that I can walk into places and spaces as my authentic self. Now, I'm not saying I didn't walk in as Quiana, but I had to put a mask on. It wasn't always who I wanted to be or how I wanted to show up. Oh, I can't do this. I can't wear, this color nail polish. I don't want to be too loud. I don't want to be too angry. I don't want to be. Be who you are. Make sure you're bringing those talents. Now, that does not mean you can go in there and do those things and not produce. When you go into corporate America, you are working for an organization and they have goals and shareholders that you've signed up and said, this is what I'm raising my hand. I want to be a part of this, of advancing your goals and your mission. Walking into places and spaces as yourself. The other thing I would say is hold space. Because I wasn't walking into those places and spaces as my full self, sometimes I would say, well, they don't need to hear what I have to say. Someone already said it. Hold space. You own that space, hold it. Sit in the room, sit at the front of the table, give your opinions. Hold space.
Awesome. Let's give that
On Point with Juandolyn Stokes, Trailblazer honoree, a woman in education, Dr. Valerie Montgomery Rice, president of Morehouse School of Medicine.
Here we go! It's my time to rise. It's my time to shine. It's my time to live.
Come on, let's give it up. We are right here in the studios here on WAOK and representing. I want her to really introduce herself to you because she's going to say thank you on behalf of Dr. Montgomery Valerie Rice.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dorian Harrison, Senior Vice President and Chief Marketing and Communication Officer for Morehouse School of Medicine. I have had such a warm welcome since I've been here in Georgia. But I must tell you that Dr. Montgomery Rice sends her deep regrets that she could not be here. And she wanted to say how honored she was to be among such phenomenal women and to be honored and to thank you. I would like to thank you as well, Juandolyn, for your support of Morehouse School of Medicine.
You're more than welcome.
We appreciate it, especially on this cusp of our 50th anniversary.
Yes.
Absolutely. And our mission of leading the creation and advancement of health equity to achieve health justice is more important now than ever. We look forward to having you all support and bringing you more of our amazing accomplishments as we move forward. So thank you so much.
Let's give it up for our first round of honorees. These are some phenomenal phenomenal women, and we thank them for being here, and we thank you all for being here to celebrate them with us. We want to welcome Melvin Miller back to the stage to give us a little bit more entertainment. You know him from being one of the renowned trumpet players around the country, not just here in Atlanta, but around the country. So ladies and gentlemen, again, let's give a round of applause for Melvin Miller. Fabulous, fantastic show. I'm just gonna need my ticket up front now. Need my ticket up front. But thank you all so much for being here, and I hope that you are enjoying the show. And now we would like to continue recognizing our honorees.
Hello. Thank you for this incredible honor. A special thank you to Juandolyn Stokes and her team for their leadership and for gathering us for this event. For me, this is a celebration of the power of African American storytelling, advocacy, and community. Media has long been a force for truth and a bridge connecting communities. In times of uncertainty, information empowers, it educates and unites. Journalists, storytellers, and advocates in the Black community share our stories, our struggles, and our triumphs on our terms. So keep pushing forward. Our voices shape the future, and together we will continue breaking barriers, lifting up the next generation, and forging a path toward a more just, informed, and empowered society. Thank you again for this honor, and God bless.
Awesome. Come on, let's give it up. Wonderful, wonderful. Aren't you enjoying these words of encouragement and inspiration and really hearing the hearts of these women as they're blazing trails? Awesome. Well, now we're going to go to our next honoree. All right, let's do it.
On Point with Juandolyn Stokes, Trailblazer honoree, a woman in business, Pinckney Hayes, CEO of Slutty Vegan.
Come on, let's give it up for a representative. Woo! Come on, show some more love. Sister girl, we appreciate the work that you all are doing. And Pinckney Cole was trying to get here on her flight, but she didn't make it. But we certainly honor you and the work she's been doing and representing women out there on the front line. And so on behalf of Odyssey Atlanta and WAOK and On Point with Juandolyn Stokes, we present you this Trailblazer Awards and let her know that we love her and safe travels. Anything you'd like to share with us?
Yes. Hi, my name is Chayla Counts. I am the executive assistant to Mrs. Pinckney Cole Hayes. And on her behalf, she is extremely grateful for this award. And she is honored to be with this group of wonderful trailblazing women. And she is all about community. So today is wonderful. And she looks forward to paying it forward even more.
Yeah. Awesome, awesome. Come on, let's give it up for Pinckney Cole. And it's good when we can pay it forward, right? Yeah, as God blesses us, we bless others. And that's what we're here on this world to do. Not for us to just have success, but also for others too. Well, let's get ready for our next honoree. Come on, let's give it up for Kathleen Bertrand. We love you. I know she can dance a little bit, but certainly she can sing. And I don't know if how many of you have ever been to the BronzeLens Festival? Yeah, isn't it amazing? Wow, and how many of you have ever heard her as a vocalist? Woo! She is amazing. On behalf of Odyssey Atlanta, WAOK, and On Point with Juandolyn Stokes, we present you this Trailblazer Award. You are simply amazing. Wow. I want to talk to you about your career in terms of, being a recording artist and that journey. How has that been for you? And then what was the transition for you into the BronzeLens Festival?
God is good. Yes, he is. My life has been an amazing journey of blessings all along the way. My previous career was at the Atlanta Convention and Visitors Bureau, where I worked for 32 years, rose to being the highest ranked woman and African American at that time, senior vice president at the company. I had an opportunity to create programs like the Diversity in the Hospitality Industry Summit, diversity job fair for the hospitality industry, a guide for Atlanta that specifically focused on African American attractions. And so that was an amazing time to be in Atlanta. I'm a hometown girl, not Grady, but I was born in McClendon Hospital, and to have an ideal job where everything I said, everything that came out of my mouth was Atlanta. I always knew we were fabulous. I mean, we're uber fabulous now, but I always knew this was an amazing city, always. So that job was a joy. Out of working at the Atlanta Convention and Visitors Bureau came BronzeLens Film Festival. Wow. It was born during my time at ACVB, a meeting with my CEO. He said Atlanta needed to have something that celebrated African American film, and his logic was, after all, Tyler Perry Studios is here. And that was back in 2000, at the end of 2008. And BronzeLens' first film festival was in 2010. I called on friends in the industry like Cheryl Gripper, who helped, Deidre McDonald, and so many other people that helped us launch this festival that is now 16 years old this year, celebrating the work of African American filmmakers and creators and producers. And so it's a joy. So that was that transition. But very quickly, the music also never left during that time. I did plays, Alliance Theater, Independence Theater, then I did festivals, and I just never stopped singing. So my CEO at the time walked into my office and said, Kathleen, I heard you can sing. You want to sing the national anthem at our annual meeting? And so I did. I had a great producer friend create a track for me of the anthem. And I sang it, and out of that opportunity came opportunities to sing for the Braves, the Falcons, the Hawks. Every professional sports team I had the opportunity to sing the national anthem for. And then at some point, when I stopped paying for my children, hear what I'm saying? When I stopped funding my children, I had money left over to fund my own projects. And so my first 2 CDs were CDs that I got sponsors for and paid them back. But the last 4 CDs were all independently funded because now I could fund my dream. So those are all the transitions. I don't know if I answered all of them.
Yes, you did. One final question. When it comes to the arts, why is it important, especially in this day, to celebrate, appreciate, and value the arts overall?
The arts are our creative expression. It's our almost first thought in the morning, even though you don't know it, and you wake up with a song in your mind that inspired you. Or you turn on your television, or you turn on your, phone, and there's some song that you need that inspires you. There's a piece of poetry that inspires you, or there's a book that you're reading that gives you a different direction. The arts, the creative spirit, is what fuels us when there's so much else going on in the world. While we're finding our joy now, I find it in the arts. I was driving in Atlanta, famous traffic. And it wasn't living my life like it's golden, which was wonderful, Melvin, but there was a song that came on that just really, and it was just a lovely day. And I'm like, yes, that's what today is. That's what today is. I embrace that. I love being around creative people. That is my DNA. And I think if we embrace this city, it's hard to ignore the creativity and the creators that are in Atlanta, whether it's through music, whether it's through art, whether it's through dance, whether it's through theater. There are so many things that go on in this town that can feed your soul and bring you joy in moments like this.
Thank you. Let's give it up. I tell you, just to hear about, because so many of you in here are so creative, and you come from that thread, and certainly it's certainly good to have a representative from the creative arts. All right, let's get ready for the next one. You're listening to On Point with Juandolyn Stokes on News and Talk, WAOK.
On Point with Juandolyn Stokes, Trailblazer honoree, a woman in law, Judge Glenda A. Hatchett, lawyer, TV judge, and former chief judge in Georgia.
Come on, let's give it up for the judge in the house. Come on, show some more love. Awesome. She is such a sweetheart as well, and I'm telling you, she is just extraordinary in all of the work that she does. She's been a part of our station, On Point with Juandolyn Stokes, for years, giving commentary, advice to our audience, and we appreciate you, and she's doing some amazing things. And I'm going to ask her team to come up here as well. Yes. That's right, come on up here. Awesome. As they are coming on behalf of Odyssey Atlanta, Judge, and on behalf of WAOK, and also On Point with Juandolyn Stokes. Come on up here, sweethearts. Come on. Yeah. Come on. It's the whole team. That's right. That's right. Before we hear from Judge Hatchett, I'm going to ask one of you to just say words today. All right?
Hi, welcome. I'm Shelley Jones. I'm the COO of Stewart Miller Simmons Law Firm here in Atlanta. We are a personal injury law firm really known for helping the community. Most of our larger cases that you may know about is Rayshard Brooks here in Atlanta and George Floyd. We represented his daughter for police brutality. We handle personal injury, and we are so happy that we have landed our friend, Judge Hatchett, to be part of our law firm. She's not just a judge. She is also an attorney. And we do some fabulous work at Stewart Miller Simmons. So please spread the word that we are here to help you, a Black-owned law firm here in Atlanta.
Awesome. And we want to have you to just stand here, and we'll bring her the award. And we love you. Thank you. Yes, and we'll stand here together. Thank you so much, ladies. We appreciate you. And these are our sponsors for the Trailblazer Awards as well. Yeah, let's go back here and chat for just a moment. Judge Hatchett, you have been fighting so many cases, but I want you to talk to us about how precious maternal health is to you.
It will be 9 years next month that my precious daughter walked into Cedars-Sinai and never walked out. They already had a 19-month-old, and Langston was born, and then a few hours later she was gone. I did not know, and you have, when you were one of those people who just reached out to me and my family, there were so many people in this room who loved on us. And for that, I am so grateful. And obviously, I'm very grateful for this award. But let me get down to the basics on this one. I did not know that Black women and brown women are 3 to 4 times more likely to die as a result of giving birth. And if I didn't know that, that means a whole lot of other folk. And so we have been on, and you've had me on, we've talked about this, and I'll make this succinct, but this is important for you to hear. We have been on this battlefront. 84%, hear me on this, 84% of women who die in this nation, it was preventable after childbirth. Wow. And when I say childbirth, I don't mean just giving birth, but I mean those months after, where we're having women go home and then have complications and die. 84% of these women's deaths were preventable, as was Kira's death. She was 39 years old. She was bad. She spoke 5 languages. She was a scuba diver. She had her pilot's license. She raced cars. And she was a phenomenal mother. And never in my life did I think that when we walked in that hospital, she would never walk out. Let me wrap this by saying that when a 3-year-old, well, he wasn't even 3 yet, comes, because they lived with me for some years after she died, and his room was next to mine, and of course the door's open so I could listen out for them. And I heard him get up, and I got up, and I said, "Sweetie," and he says, "Grandma G, do you have my mommy's cell phone?" And I said, "No, sweetie, I don't." He said, "I need you to find it, I need you to call God and tell I want my mommy to come home. I don't want any other child to go through what Charles and Langston have gone through. And it's not just about my grandchildren, it's about children who need their mothers to come home with them. And so we have got to be vigilant, we've got to be diligent. I didn't have the emotional energy, but we are taking on maternal death cases all over this country at Stuart Miller Simmons. Because until there is more accountability, this is not going to change. In Morehouse School of Medicine, Valerie Montgomery Rice, the president, who is a dear friend, was one of the first people to call me the morning that Kara died. And you all have done amazing work on this issue, for which I will be forever, ever, ever grateful. But we can change this. If 84% are preventable, my son reminds me, I'm like, 84%? He says, Mommy, you have to look at it. That's 84% that we can save.
Yeah.
And that's got to be our target.
Yeah.
And that's got to be our commitment. Mothers need to go home with their children.
Yes. And I certainly relate, because I had an aunt that went through a similar experience, and was still, that's why it's so dear to me, maternal health. What are some of the other top 2 issues that face women today?
We've got to deal with the health, not just maternal issues, but our health is important. We've got to be in the business of saving some lives. And I've been loving all the comments of all these wonderful women, and I just congratulate each of you. But if we're not healthy, we can't be on the battlefront. Too many of us are dying of breast cancer. I mean, let's be diligent. Let's make sure that we are buddying up and asking our friends, are you doing your breast exam? Are you getting your mammogram? We are also, and it's not about weight, y'all. It's about health. Yeah, okay, so follow me on social media, because I am on this whole thing about working out, and I'm trying to be accountable. Last night, I'm not gonna lie, I'm on this 75-day journey, and I thought, oh, I haven't exercised. So I was in the bed doing sit-ups last night. And I'm like, okay, I got no, my point is that we've got to be healthy. So health is one. But also, we've got to be really clear about what we can do and how we use our power in these times.
Yeah.
And I am telling you, we cannot just back up.
That's right.
Right? And so we are 162 years out from the Emancipation Proclamation. We are 70 years out from the day that Rosa Parks said, I'm not getting up. She took a stand by not getting up. And so I'm going to go there. For those who complain about not being able to shop for 40 days. Oh, and I know I shouldn't be cursing, so let me stop. How dare people tell me they can't shop for 40 days when Montgomery boycotters were out of the buses for 381 days. I am going there. And they were on the bus because they didn't have a car.
Yes.
Right? I mean, it's not like they just took the bus to be cute.
Right.
They didn't have a car. They lost their jobs. They lost their homes. They were threatened with their lives. And you can't tell me we can't stay out of a store for 40 when we've got cell phones, internet, social media. They had none of that. And if we are serious about moving forward, then we're going to have to be together, and we're going to have to be exactly precise and not give up.
That's right. That's right. We can't give up. We can't give up. You've got a new publication. You've got a new release. Tell us about it.
I'll make it quick. It's really an extension of a book that I wrote several years ago called Dare to Take Charge. And that is the whole thing of daring us to live our lives on purpose. Right? And we're going to either be victims or we're going to be victorious. And being victims is not an option for us. Because we, particularly as Black women, have seen what it takes to do what we need to do.
That's right.
So I did this journal planner, and it's Dare to Take Charge. And you can go online and get it. But it plans. It's only about what you're planning, your goals, but also health and finances. And all of the proceeds are supporting the scholarship in honor of my mother at Kathleen University, because she was one of those black women who sacrificed, who was born colored and poor in the Deep South. If she had had a fraction of my opportunities, she would have been Surgeon General of the United States. And so she didn't get to go to medical school. And so this scholarship fund that my father started many years ago in her honor is to help pre-med students go to medical school. So,
Wow, let's give it up for Judge Glenda Hatchett, giving back to the community. Thank you, Joyce Littell. Wow, this is amazing. We're almost there, and now let's get ready for our next honoree.
On Point with Juandolyn Stokes, Trailblazer honoree, a woman who advocates. Helen Butler, Executive Director of the People's Agenda.
Come on, let's give it up. Let's give it up. We love you, sister girl. Oh my God, this is an amazing jewel. On behalf of Odyssey Atlanta, WAOK, and On Point with Juandolyn Stokes, we love you, and we present to you this Trailblazer Award. Tell us about your work and mission in terms of making sure that people are engaged in voting and being a part of the People's Agenda. Tell us about your mission work.
Well, first, thank you, Juandolyn, and thank you, WAOK, for the recognition. We really appreciate it. I'm honored to be with such great women of Georgia, and I can tell you that I'm trying to carry on the legacy of the late Dr. Joseph Echols Lowry. Yes, give it up for him. He's the dean of the Civil Rights Movement, and so our mission at the People's Agenda, the Georgia Coalition for the People's Agenda, is to improve the quality of governance, and we do that by having gotta be active, that's right. You gotta be informed electorate that holds our elected officials accountable. Good. So that's what we're all about, and believe me, now is the time to be engaged in this process.
That's great. That's wonderful. And tell us about the tour that you all did, because we did a voter registration drive together out in the community during the election season. But tell us about the tour bus, because what was the purpose of that? You were going to different areas.
Well, we did two tours. One was at the primary where we were mobilizing block by block. And then we did the Power of the Ballot, where we did that with women, because women are leaders in the community. If we come in the community, we're bringing everybody with us. We're not just for ourselves. That's right. We're for everyone that's in the community. So we were there to educate people about what was happening, who were the candidates on the ballot, to make sure they knew when the election days were, to make sure they had their voices heard. Because guess what? Your power is your voice, and your vote is your power. And when we don't vote, we actually give our power away. Yeah. And we can't continue to do that. As you know, right now, we're in the battle. That's right. 60 years later. Yes. You talked about the Montgomery boycott and all of that, but 60 years later, we're still fighting for voting rights. Say that. For the right to vote, to have people that represent us, our interests, not someone deciding for us, but we can decide for ourselves who gets to represent us. And so that tour was to go throughout the state. In Georgia, we have 8 offices now. Of course, in Metro Atlanta, Athens, Albany, Augusta, Macon, Savannah, LaGrange, and the newest office is in Rome, Georgia. But we're intending to be across the state because we have to be engaged. Those offices are headed by women and leaders in the community that live in the communities. And I do want to say that we have an intergenerational staff. because we have to have the young people with us.
That's right.
I remember giving my first contribution to a candidate was to Alisha Thomas Morgan, Searcy right now. So we've got to be engaged in this process and make sure that we train the new leaders. Well, the new leaders are training us, because I get trained every day by Mary Pat Hector. She's in London right now learning something new to bring to Georgia. So we want to make sure we engage everyone.
How can the community hold elected officials accountable?
Well, number one, you can't just let them come to you and say, well, will you vote for me? Okay, you're going to vote for me, but what are you bringing to me? How often are you coming back to my community? You can't just let them come during election season and say that you can vote for me and I promise to do these things, and you never hold them accountable. How often have you been to visit them down at the Capitol? That's your capital. Or in Washington, D.C. How many times have you been there? Have you made an appointment to see them? You can't just let them come during election season. You got to text them, email them, Snapchat them, whatever it might be on social media to let them know that you're concerned about that. Recently, we were in D.C. with the Black Women's Roundtable, where we went to see our senators from Georgia, because we wanted them to vote no on that continuing resolution. We wanted to make sure that they stood for us and not just gave in to what they wanted, other people wanted, but what we wanted. So we got to hold them accountable. Your mayors, your city council, your school board, no matter what elected, if it's a dog catcher, make sure they come and report to you frequently what they're doing for you.
Wonderful. Come on, let's give it up for Helen Butler. Awesome, awesome. Thank you so very much. Let's go to our next honoree.
On Point with Juandolyn Stokes, Trailblazer honoree, a woman in the community, Nancy Flake Johnson, President and CEO of Urban League of Greater Atlanta.
What's up, sister girl? Come on, let's show us some more love. This is so wonderful. On behalf of Odyssey Atlanta and WAOK and On Point with Juandolyn Stokes, we present you this Trailblazer Award. Wow. Thank you. Nancy Flake Johnson, we partnered all last year, and we're continuing to partner as we talk about things and issues and policies that are happening in DC and what we need to do as a people. One of our first panel discussions we had was we were talking about an unveiling Project 2025. And then recently, just a few weeks ago, we were also now talking about post-Project 2025. How important it is for us to know about certain policies and things that are happening right now. Well, what's on your mind about that?
Well, what's on my mind is we're leaving our power on the table. That really is what's moving me the most. So, Helen and all of our civil rights, grassroots organizations, what I love about Atlanta, we collaborate.
Yeah.
Don't let people tell you that we don't work together, because we do. But something did not click for our community for this election. We had the blueprint. We reached out on media and town halls and in every venue we could possibly imagine to do our part to educate our community. But we weren't successful getting that message across. So one of the things we're doing right now is we are definitely leaning into each other and really connecting more and more. We've got to connect to our young folks.
Yes.
Because there's a communication gap that's going on right now. A lot of the party in power, whenever all the branches are controlled by one party, there's the potential for risk to community. Right. And that's what we've got right now. Sure. And so, you see things are happening very rapidly.
Yes, they are.
Hitler converted Germany from a democracy to a dictatorship in 53 days. Here we are, just 60-some days in, and we've seen changes at such speed that have been intentional, but they are all documented in that plan. So we knew it. I don't think we fully absorbed it, and so now we got to deal with it. So here's the thing. Some of the data shows over 500,000 Black registered voters in Georgia did not vote. That's huge. The differential between the two candidates was only about 150,000 votes. We have the most to lose when resources are withdrawn. And so these are our tax dollars too, y'all. Right? And so I think what I am prayerful for our community right now is that what you're doing today and what you do every day and what all of us must engage in, we have to all do our part. The house is on fire, y'all. Yeah. It is. It's the elephant in the room. And we can't be immobilized by it. And I think a lot of us, it's a lot. It weighs on our psyches and our hearts and our souls. So I can't take every day the pound of the news because it's so heavy, so fast, so deep, and just so heartfelt that what's happening, if these things continue, Urban League sees every day on the front lines. Our folks were struggling before this election, before January 20th. Imagining the multiplier effect on our seniors, on our poor families, that food stamps, folks. We're talking about folks talking about eliminating food stamps and Social Security, not investing in any future affordable housing and education. These are the fundamentals of our day-to-day lives in our world. That's right. And so it's on us. That's what I feel. I am inspired to do more. And so I'm just asking we're pushing hard. We're telling our community, let's accelerate. Yes. Let's get you plugged into what is available now while we can get you there. Technical college, get you upskilled, help you get back in school, upgrade your employment, get ready for home ownership, save, put your money aside. Those are the works of the Urban League. We have 5 pillars. The first is, let's stabilize people. What does that mean? Food insecurity, housing, health care. The second is, now we got to economically mobilize our community, help people earn more for their households. Yes. And then the third, and that's education and careers, and we've got all that here in Atlanta, but we have to prepare our community to plug into it and keep these doors open. They're trying to close the doors. Yeah. But we're not going to have it. We're not going to do that. And then third, we teach our people how to manage their money, save and build wealth. And we're doing that. And a lot of you are doing that, but we need to do more. And then fifth, we do what Helen does. We support what Helen and NAACP and ACLU, they do that work every single day. We're helping people, but we know when it's time, we answer their call. Show up at the Capitol. We now have a lobbyist because one of my team, the lobbyist, John Moy, came to me when he was hired for a whole nother role. He said, Nancy, he said, if you give me 4 hours a week, I will position us to have impact on the policies and the laws that help sweeping numbers of people across the state, not just help people here in Atlanta. And I am so grateful I listened to him. And now I have a better understanding. Right now, what's being considered at the Capitol right now is to take away, there was talk that they want to take away early voting. Right, Helen? Right? Who votes early? Black folks do. So another attempt. And there's a DEI bill that we hope we have paused at least, because it didn't cross over, but they have their tricky ways of they reintroduced it, y'all. This morning to eliminate DEI here at home. We have black colleges to protect. We have the progress we've made to protect. We know racism and discrimination are still alive and well. That's why these things were put in the laws to require people to give us a shot. We know how strong and smart we are. Given the opportunity, we're gonna do it at the highest possible bar. Well, it's threatened now, and we gotta accept that, but we don't let it, paralyze us, right, with fear.
That's right.
But to do that, we're better together, y'all. So let's lean in, start at home. There's a lot of misinformation. You got young folks, we gotta regain the trust, has to focus back inward to home.
Yes.
And to family.
That's right.
And we're doing that every day. So y'all, we're in a fight. We got special elections this year. We've got midterms elections next year. And so true, all the way up the ballot. Start city council, mayor's office, county commissioners, all of these roles, judges. They matter now, don't you see?
Yes.
That what's happening at the federal level, the courts are the only thing that's starting to try to push back. And there's a fear that this administration will not abide. And so, y'all, if we didn't know, we know now, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Now. And so sometimes God makes it hard for us to wake up. And now we woke. And don't let that word be a bad word. It's a good word. Diversity, equity, inclusion is positive, it's good, and we gotta fight for it, y'all. So we here for it.
We are.
Yes.
Let our audience know, Nancy, where they can go, because a lot of the programs, the training, and the resources are there at the Urban League of Greater Atlanta. Where can
Absolutely. They can go to the website, www.ulgatl.org. Housing, employment, education, learning how to manage your money, building wealth, and being civically engaged. It's as simple as picking up your phone and calling, finding out, first of all, go online, who's your representatives?
That's right.
And then get their numbers. And we need you all calling right now to your state representatives and say, we want DEI in this state. Here's the deal. We're 32% of this population in Georgia, 1 in 3. Black, Latino, Asian, women. There's more of us than them. We're the ones going to benefit from DEI, and the state needs that to happen, because the better we're equipped and the more money we support people to make the economy churns, it's better for all of us.
That's right.
So we're going to fight for that.
Let's give it up for Nancy Flake Johnson. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you so very much for the great work that all of our honorees are doing. And now our next honoree, a lot of times we're on the radio, we're on part with Juandolyn Stokes on News and Talk, WAOK. And then sometimes we'll elevate it WAOK, and sometimes it's WAOK. Well, I tell you, when this sister girl came, she changed it. She said, WAOK. Listen, can you imagine who our next honoree is?
On Point with Juandolyn Stokes, Trailblazer honoree, a woman in media, Trina Braxton, TV personality and influencer.
Oh boy.
Let's give it up for Trina Braxton! Good morning, welcome. Wow, this is a jewel, I tell you. On behalf of Odyssey Atlanta and WAOK, and On Point with Juandolyn Stokes, we present to you this Trailblazer Award. Thank you so much. How have you been doing?
No cause to complain, I tell you that.
Wow, I know that's right. Tell us about, what it's like to be Trina.
It's very difficult. Because when you are a television personality, as a lot of you all know, people see what they want to see. And they believe that they can judge who you are and what encompasses your life based on 1 hour a week for 8 weeks or 16 weeks out of the year.
Yeah.
So it's very, very, it puts you in a very difficult place when you want to be your authentic self, but the judgment of public opinion has already tried and judged you.
Yeah. Wow. And how do you balance that in terms of, keeping those things separate and keeping yourself encouraged?
I had to realize very early in my life that everyone in your circle is not in your corner. And when I finally figured that out and figured out who was truly in my corner and not just around to be around, though I let and allowed those people to feed positively and truth into me. Because sometimes people are around just to be around, and they're there to be yes people and just to try to tell you what they think you need to hear. 100% of the time, you need to hear the truth about what a situation is.
Yeah. How has your faith helped you in your journey?
Well, God is the center of my life. I grew up a PK, but I'm going to be honest, my father's a preacher, not me, because I still enjoy a good little curse word every now and then, and a good little glass of a bottle of wine. However, I celebrate that first miracle, y'all. So, but my belief system is the core of my life, and I finally ended up with a husband who is as equally yoked as I am in the Word of God, and that's what we base our relationship on, that's what we base our decisions on, and that's how we raise our children.
Wow, that's great. Now, a lot of times, on your social media, you show a lot about the meals that you all prepare.
Yes.
Tell us about how that is woven into your family unit.
Oh, wow, especially in the African American community. I'm not saying that doesn't happen in others, but in the spirit of love, we share that through food, fun, laughter. We get together and we experience our love through the food that we cook. A lot of times, that's the only way we could celebrate ourselves and each other. And I'm sure a lot of women are not going to agree with this whole feminist movement. I don't care. My mom has always said, when your man goes to work, he has to deal with the pressures of so many people. And when he comes home, he doesn't have to deal with yours too. Not right away anyway, because they're not always right. But I believe in, after preparing a meal that I cook for my family, I serve my husband first. Because a lot of times throughout his day, he is not served first. He's served last when he is doing that day at work. So, and I believe that when you make food, your energy goes into your food. It truly does. If you're having a bad day, when you cook, your food does not turn out right. That pie crust is dry.
Right.
But I believe in my spirit going into my food. And I believe in that love that's poured into it, gets poured into my family.
Wow. How do you use laughter as a healing part of your old journey in your life?
Nobody wants dry stuff in their life. I'm just saying. You have to have a little bit of laughter in your life. Everything is not so serious all the time, and it's boring. It truly is. I love to laugh, and then to have someone who can pour into me and make me laugh as well, and to take some of that weight off of the day from me, I encourage it.
Wow, that's good. And tell us about the importance of just family overall. You're working with your sister, your family. How is family support essential to one's development and journey and progress?
Your inner circle and your support is extremely important.
Okay.
I'm going to start there. But it's called self-esteem for a reason. And sometimes, and I don't want people to misconstrue this because it's going to turn into something different, but sometimes the family that you choose for yourself can be closer than the family that you're born into. And sometimes you have to choose that family, okay? So when I say it's called self-esteem, you have to esteem yourself first. I'm gonna tell y'all a story, okay? Here I go. Do I have 3 minutes, y'all? Just three. Just three. There was a man, and he was asleep. And he had this reoccurring dream that it was a lion that was always coming to devour him. And every night, that lion just kept coming to him in his dream. He was like, "Oh, Mr. Lion, are you going to eat me?" And the lion said, "I don't know. It's your dream." So you have to go forth in this life encouraging yourself to maintain your own goals and your own dreams and make sure they happen for yourself. Not to take anything away from my sisters, because they are a daily part of my life and a daily part of my struggle. But you have to learn to make sure your goals belong to you, because no one else is going to make them happen except for you.
That's good. That's good. Just give us, for women, just give us just a few of your tips as it relates to beauty and fashion.
Beauty and fashion. I'm not a fashionista. I'm just not. I'm a jeans and t-shirt kind of girl. I do whatever makes me feel
that's
comfortable.
Fashion too, though.
I'm not that person who, goes out and gets the latest bag and the latest jeans and the latest shoes. Let me tell you, they all serve the same purpose. That bag I got from Walmart still holds the same Louis Vuitton bag that was $1,500. So I'd rather spend that $15 and be comfortable.
That's great. That's great. What's next? What is next for you? What's next for you?
Oh wow! As you all know, my husband and I, we do have our cooking channel. It's not a cooking show. It's a cooking channel on YouTube. But I decided that if something is really passionate for you in your life, you have to learn the most that you can about it. So I am back in culinary school. Yes. So I'm very excited about this new chapter in my life. I'll be finished next year, but I will officially have my degree in culinary arts, and I will be a chef instead of just a cook.
How can people follow you on social media?
I am Trina Braxton 1 on Instagram, and my husband and I, our cooking channel is on YouTube, Trina Braxton World.
Wow, wonderful. Give us that WAOK line one more time.
Okay.
Go ahead.
You are here on WAOK with Juandolyn Stokes.
Come on, let's give it up for Trina Braxton.
Thank you. I do have something to piggyback on with Mrs. Johnson. We've been learning very, very recently in these 60 plus days that the pen is mightier than the sword. But we have to realize our voices are larger than silence. So use your voice.
That's good. Wow. Come on, let's give her another hand. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
Come on, now you got to do it for Juandolyn Stokes. All right. We still have just a little bit more. I would like to introduce our next performer. She's a motivational speaker. She's a voiceover artist, and she's a renowned poet. She used to host Poetic Moments on V103 with me for about 10 years. And she's also in my phone, and she answers it. Thank you. So ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Andrea Mills.
Thank you all so much. Sweat, strain, anguish, and fear adds nothing new to our struggle to persevere. Black history was built on the hope of ages past, and our heroes still cry out for freedom at last. Harriet Tubman always followed the light, but she knew that her path was always brightest at night. Moses, emancipator of the slaves, is what she was called. Over 300 slaves in 15 trips. You tell me who's the bravest of them all. Booker T. Washington, now there was a man. Tuskegee Institute was born of his plan. And Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune has a special place in my heart. You see, 5 little girls and faith in God is how Bethune-Cookman College got its start. But what about Rosa Parks sitting down for her fight? And everyone on that bus knew that she was ready to fight for her rights. But only she knew that God said, stay, because you, my precious child, shall make history this day. And when Martin declared he'd been to the mountaintop, we knew from that moment on that his struggle couldn't be stopped. You see, he had been where none had been before, and still today, his spirit continues to soar. People, places, expectations, and results. Some people do nothing, but they want to share the victor's cup. But history doesn't happen all on its own. You pick a cause, you stand for justice, and you believe you'll never stand alone. Thank you, Judge Hatchett. There are so many African Americans making history in their own way. Former Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms did it for the city of Atlanta just the other day. But she can't do it all. It takes a community of people like me and you. So tell me, when will you start doing what you need to do? Because a woman, she gets it done. You may ask how? A woman is always gracious, ready to do her best. Standing tall in the shadows, she's separate from the rest. And the look deep in her eyes makes you want to get inside to see where she stores enormous courage and great pride. Courage that has lasted years through nights of bondage and times of fears, and yet she holds her head up high, fighting obstacles to lead the way, like your grandparents did in the early days and like many strong Black women today. She displays a pride that is seen through her eyes, knowing that God is a pillar of strength, and like a tree planted and rooted by the riverside, she's pushed but never bent. Well, you are that woman from your head down to your toes. You are the ones who stand out, for on eagle's wings you soar. High above the rest, you have no time for looking down. Enduring the trials and pain here, but never leveled to the ground. Today we thank you because you have taught us to always follow our dreams. That is the only way they can come true. So trailblazers, we say congratulations and thank you for all of the wonderful work you do. Thank you.
I'm full. I am so full. To see this happen from two people that I see every single day work hard. I mean, work hard. And to see it come to fruition as a manager, it just warms my heart to know that I hired the right people. And to see the passion that they have for what they do. And I just want to thank them for that. Thank Juandolyn Stokes and DJ Miss Eclectic, Chantel Thompson. I want to thank Stuart Miller Simmons for supporting us. Yes. Thank you so much. When you were called upon, you answered the call, and we thank you so much. We want to thank African Pride for the gift baskets, the gift boxes and bags, so thank you for that. But this is just a token of my appreciation for being the best. She's the absolute best. And she could not, she's the voice. She's the voice, but it's somebody that's pushing her and behind her that makes her sound good. Yes. And that is her executive producer. That is Chantel Miss Eclectic Thompson. Y'all can do better than that. This girl works hard. I'm talking about she works hard. And I could not have picked two wonderful people to be a part of the WAOK staff to make this thing happen the way that you all make it happen. I am so very proud of both of you. I love both of you, and you got the next couple of days off, okay? But come Tuesday. Now you got tomorrow, you got Monday. But come Tuesday, I'm gonna need On Point to be live, okay? But no, but they are phenomenal, and we just want to share in telling them how much we love and appreciate the works that you do. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Come on, let's give it up for Joy. We are just about at the end of our show.
Maria Boynton, please come to the stage.
Juandolyn Stokes, to the entire WAOK team, I got to tell you, as Public Affairs Director for this is what I'm talking about when we talk about representing in the community, right? To the honorees, you're awesome, you're beautiful, you're lovely, congratulations. This afternoon we have a special presentation I'd like to bring to the stage, none other than Atlanta City Councilman Michael Julian Bond.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It is really my pleasure to be here today to be on hand for the honoring of these great women trailblazers in our city that have made a tremendous difference. Because I used to joke with my grandmother, I said the first person that ever did anything for me was my mother, right? A woman carried me into this life. And so you can never say thank you enough to those women in your lives who do the things that make things happen.
Yes.
Every major movement in America, every major movement around the world, but particularly in America, had women at the forefront. Doesn't matter if it was the abolitionist movement, if it was the suffragette movement, doesn't mean if it was the abolish alcohol movement, doesn't matter if it's the civil rights movement, doesn't matter if it's the women's rights movement. Women play a pivotal part in our society, and they don't get the recognition they need. And even those who give recognition to others don't get the recognition they need. But that changes today. And so I'm here today to represent our mayor, the Honorable Andre Dickens, the 61st Mayor of the City of Atlanta, our Atlanta City Council President, and all 15 members of the Atlanta City Council to present a special proclamation for Juandolyn Stokes. And I will read the proclamation. Come on up. Wow. I will read the proclamation in pertinent part now. We all know what she does up here at WAOK Radio 1380, but she comes out in the community and helps me distribute food. And together with her partnership, we distribute 1.3 million meals over the last 4 years. Let's give her a big round of applause. So she does it inside and outside. But to the matter at hand, I have a proclamation from the City of Atlanta that reads, in pertinent part, recognizing radio trailblazer Juandolyn Stokes. Whereas Juandolyn Stokes has been a pioneering force in the field of radio broadcasting, earning her induction into the National Black Radio Hall of Fame in the category of Best Talk Radio Show / Personality, cementing her legacy as one of the leading voices in the industry. Whereas Ms. Stokes began her esteemed radio career in 1979 at WSOK Radio in Savannah, Georgia, and later continued her work at WCLK Radio of Clark Atlanta University, where she hosted the weekday morning gospel radio show before joining News and Talk Radio 1380 in 2020 as the host of her highly acclaimed midday program, On Point with Juandolyn Stokes. Whereas the impactful voice and journalistic excellence have earned her significant recognition, including an honor from the Atlanta City Council member, Michael Julian Bond, I know that guy, and the Georgia Senate in 2021, an acknowledgement of the celebration of women in radio in the Georgia State Capitol in 2024, whereas she received numerous accolades, including Announcer of the Year Award from the Stellar Awards Committee and the GMWA Gospel Radio Personality of the Year Award, and has contributed in the field of radio production, creation, and writing through her work with the National Public Radio, NPR, and the National Association of Broadcasters. And whereas beyond her exceptional career in broadcasting, Juandolyn Stokes is demonstrating an unwavering commitment to the community service, serving as the pastor of the Deeper Life in Christ Ministries and participating on boards that address issues of human trafficking, homeless, and hunger. And whereas she has actively contributed to emergency response efforts, helping raise funds to provide resources for victims of disasters, and has been steadfast advocate of the health and wellness through her support of the American Diabetes Association, the American Cancer Society, and the National Kidney Foundation. Whereas in honor of Women's History Month, Stokes and WAOK created the annual Trailblazers Award, a prestigious event that recognizes influential women who embody her mantra of live well and win well, as we demonstrate leadership in their various industries while making significant contributions to our community. Now, therefore, we, the members of the Atlanta City Council, and the City of Atlanta, hereby proclaim this day as Juandolyn Stokes Day in our fair city, and witness thereof, I have set my hand and have caused the seal of the City of Atlanta to be hereunto affixed. Congratulations, Juandolyn Stokes.
Let's give her another big round of applause. There's just a few other people we want to thank. Carla with Chit Chats Communications, thank you so much for doing what you do. That's Carla Morrison right there. And do know that this entire show will be launched on the WAOK YouTube channel. Keep listening to us, and we'll let you know when you can view the entire 2025 Trailblazer Awards. So thank you for coming out for 2025 Trailblazer Awards on behalf of Juandolyn Stokes.
Let's just pray real quick. Father, we just thank you now for this day, celebrating these great women. We thank you for the food that's been prepared for us. We pray that you will bless it and take out all impurities. And Lord, if you're able, take out the calories. Amen. In Jesus' name, amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, what an unforgettable evening it's been. Thank you all for joining us for the 2025 On Point with Juandolyn Stokes Trailblazer Awards Show, a celebration of women who possess courage and confidence, women who shine bright in our community, creating a successful path for others. To all our honorees, presenters, special guests, and everyone behind the scenes, thank you for your passion, your power, and your presence tonight. And remember, the conversation doesn't stop here. Stay inspired, stay informed, and stay on point with Juandolyn Stokes. Weekdays from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on News and Talk WAOK. Until next time, keep blazing trails and making an impact. Good night and God bless.